Hello everyone, welcome to English for You. I'm Mike.
And I'm Laura.
And today we're having a very serious look at a very serious topic that could be affecting a lot of people out there watching us right now. The headline tells us the whole thing. Taiwan extends military service period to 1 year. If you're a young person now and you're, in the late teens, in your 20s, and you have to join the army, as people have had to do for a long time, you will soon find yourself being in that army or whatever for a longer period than maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And this is all, of course, because things with China are becoming a little tenser, possibly more dangerous. We've seen Russia invade Ukraine and the people of Ukraine are fighting. So I guess the idea is that if we're going to get into a war, and of course we hope we don't, but if we are, it's better for young people to have more training so they are more able to fight and defend and, protect themselves and all of that stuff. So it might take a harder work from everyone. It's not fun, but it might be the best thing to do in the long run. Let's just hope it doesn't happen, though.
No,
all
fingers crossed.
Something that we do have to have happen is we do have to read the article. So let's get to that.
Let's do that.
Reading.
Taiwan extends military service period to 1 year. Taiwan has announced that from 2024, it will increase its compulsory military service period from 4 months to a year. The move is due to threats of an attack from China, which have been fueled by a 2022 visit from U.S. politician Nancy Pelosi. President Tsai Ing-wen has also spoken of plans to improve conscript pay. It will be raised from 6,510 NT dollars a month to a figure which is close to minimum wage. In addition to extended service, training will be expanded to include instruction on special types of weapons. According to the latest numbers, around 118,000 Taiwanese males are conscripted each year. After training, they become reservists. Taiwan currently has over 2 million reservists, and its standard armed forces have around 180,000 people. While this is no small number, it doesn't match China's 2 million strong regular military. Many countries, including the U.S., Taiwan's biggest non-official friend, welcome the conscription change, but public opinion at home is more mixed. One survey, done in early December 2022, indicates that almost 75% of Taiwan's population agrees with extending conscription. However, only around 35% of people aged 20 to 24 support it. This figure indicates that those most affected by it don't necessarily want it.
All right, so let's get into the details. The headline explained the basic idea, but here we learn a bit more. It says Taiwan has announced that from 2024, next year, it will increase its compulsory military service period from 4 months to a year, or from 4 months to 12 months, in other words. So this is something the government announced not too long ago. I think they were talking about it for a while, but now it's official. We know it's official because when someone announces something, it usually means, okay, we've stopped thinking about it or planning it. Now we're doing it and we're telling you all we're gonna do it. That's what you do when you announce. You publicly declare, you publicly tell everyone something big, something's happening. It could be, something from the government, like we're announcing that tomorrow is a day off because of the typhoon or something like that. Or it could be something more personal. You might announce that you're moving to another country or you're getting married next year or something like that. But it's not something you'll just tell 1 or 2 people. It's something you kind of want the whole world to know.
Wow.
That's why we say, I announced this instead of just, I told people this. For example, it was announced last night that our company has gone out of business and everyone has lost their job. That is terrible news.
Okay, yes. Announce 就是宣布、宣告，它是一个动词哦。I'll think of a happier one.
Okay.
Blackpink announced their world tour dates for 2023, including stops in North America, Europe, and Asia.
Is that happier?
Yeah, I'm
Really?
a blank. That's why
I'd rather lose my job.
No, okay. And we mentioned the adjective compulsory, 就是义务的、强制的。military service 就是我们今天一直在讲的，就是兵役哦。所以课文是说，台湾宣布从2024年起，将征兵期从4个月延长到1年咯。
All right. The move is due to threats of an attack from China, of course, which have been fueled by a 2022 visit from U.S. politician Nancy Pelosi. Also fueled by the fact that China's flying airplanes and sending boats around us all the time. That's also fueling it. But yeah, we're using fuel here as a verb, not as a noun, which is more common. So let's find out about that. All right, yes, we normally use the word fuel to talk about gas or petrol, that liquid that we put into motor cars and other things. We burn it, it makes energy. That is fuel or gas. But we can also use it as a verb to talk about what fuel does in a car. It powers it. It gives it energy. It gives it motivation. It's the thing that's sort of pushing it along. So when you fuel something with something, you're kind of giving it energy, giving it motivation. You can fuel it with gas or, something like that, of course, but you can also fuel your body with food. You can fuel your determination to succeed with your failure from the past. Oh, I failed at this before, but that is only fueling me to work harder into the future. So it's giving you energy, giving you power. That is what you are using to get things done. For example, Thailand hopes that the return of tourists will help to fuel its economy, or in other words, bring more money into the economy.
注意哦，本课的 move 大家有没有发现它是当作名词来用，有的就是行动或是措施，而 fuel 也很有趣，它是当作动词来用，有着刺激啦、激起或是加剧哦。所以整句是说这个措施呢是由中国对台湾的攻击威胁日益升高，而这些威胁又受到美国的政治家 Nancy Pelosi 他在2022年访台的时候的助推或是加剧啊。
All right, now it's not just going to be a lot of hard work for young people. They might get more out of it too, so that could be a good thing. President Tsai Ing-wen has also spoken of plans to improve conscript pay. Because, last I heard, they get paid very little. Like not enough to,
no one wants to go.
To pay for your bills or, if you're married and have kids, you can't possibly live on the money you get while being in the army. So raising conscript pay, conscripts are basically soldiers who are forced to join the army for a period of time to help the country. And even if it's the law, even if it's the right thing to do, they should get paid because that's also the right thing to do.
Right, okay. So we saw a lot of words and phrases. Speak of something 就是提到什么什么 conscript 可以当作名词或动词，本课是当作名词，就是被征召入伍的人。那当作动词就是征召谁谁谁入伍哦。Conscription, that's the noun form, 就是征兵。所以蔡英文总统也曾谈到说，要提高这个征兵的薪资的一个计划哦。
There you go. It will be raised from $6,510 a month to a figure which is close to minimum wage. So that would be up around $23,000, $25,000, $30,000. If your country's expecting you to fight and die for it, you should pay them what people at McDonald's or something make. I think that's fair. Because obviously the wage of $6,500 a month, that's not enough to live on anywhere. A wage is basically pay that you make for work, the money that you make for work. And it's usually broken down by time. We would talk about an hourly wage, a weekly wage, a monthly wage. If you have something that gives you a salary, this is more like a set amount of money you make per month or per year. It doesn't change. Whereas with wages, if you work more, you'll make more money because your pay is based on time, like per per hour, per day, something like that. For example, Rachel likes her job at the fast food restaurant, but she admits that the wages really aren't very good.
OK, so 我们刚刚有提到 figure 对不对？就是在这里是表示金额，我们还提到 minimum 这个形容词，就是最少的、最低的。相反的，最高的，知道是什么吗？就是 maximum。而 wage 就是有工资啊，或者是薪资，但是它通常是可以浮动，因为你工作几个小时才会拿到多少工资，不像 salary 是固定的薪资哦，像是月薪、年薪，我们会用 salary。所以呢，回到课文是说，它将从每个月好低哦，6510的新台币增加到接近最低工资的数字哦，所以可能会比较好咯。
And that's not all. In addition to extended service, training will be expanded to include instruction on special types of weapons. That's right, as the threat, the danger from China has increased, people here are starting to realize that, training soldiers in ways that won't really prepare them for war is not a good idea. So no more painting rocks and shooting a gun 2 times or something. They're going to be doing much more realistic things with special types of weapons, more modern weapons, like they might actually have to use in a war in the future. So that's a good idea too, making them more ready to do something they might have to do. We have to talk about this word expand. All right, expand is one of those transitive verbs that talks about something that kind of changes as it's happening. When we expand things, we grow them, we make them bigger, we make them cover a larger area. Maybe because of what we do, or maybe just because that's what they are doing now. If you open an umbrella, it will expand over your head. If you blow into a balloon, it will expand. If you go to the library or read a lot of books, you will expand your knowledge, make it bigger, make it grow, make it cover more area. For example, Howie's boss wants to expand his company's business into Southeast Asia next year. Maybe they do business now in Taiwan and China, Hong Kong, but soon they'll be going to Southeast Asia. They'll have stores in Vietnam, Malaysia, Cambodia, Thailand, stuff like that. They're getting bigger.
So extended 我们刚刚还有看到这个字它是个形容词，就是延长的。那 extend 这是它的动词，就是延长，而 expand 就是发展、扩展的意思，它是一个动词。For example, the team leader encouraged members to expand their skill sets by taking on new challenges. OK, 所以课文提到说，除了延长这个服役的期限，训练也会扩大哦，包括这个特定的武器的指导 Great, more training, better training.
There you go. Well, according to the latest numbers, this is of course from the government,
right.
Their numbers, their statistics. According to the latest numbers, around 118,000 Taiwanese males are conscripted each year. After training, they become reservists. So after the 4 months, now it's going to be 12 months of training, then you become a reservist. Basically, you're allowed to go back to your old life, go back to your old job, move back home. But when they need you, they'll call you back to rejoin the army after you do that first training period. And that's about 120,000 young people, in the ages of 18 to 24, sort of something in there, every year.
Wow, okay,
Yeah,
so
big numbers.
A reservist 就是后备军人，所以根据最新的数据啊，每年大概有11.8万名台湾男性接受征兵，然后完成训练之后，他们就成为这个预备，就是后备军人啦。
Taiwan currently has over 2 million reservists, and its standard armed forces have around 180,000 people. So the standard armed forces would be the people who are in the army now, in uniform, that is their job now. The reservists are those people who did the training before, but they can be called back and they will still be able to work and act as soldiers. When we talk about armed, basically this is an adjective that just means you have weapons on you. If you are armed, you will not be allowed to get on the airplane. You can't take weapons on an airplane unless you're a police officer or something like that. And of course, soldiers will be armed at certain times. A bodyguard for a VIP might be armed. They might have a gun. And police, of course, in most countries are armed as well. They're carrying weapons on them at that moment. For example, the president is protected by armed guards at all times, even when she's fast asleep.
Okay.
They're not with her, they're around her.
Okay.
Yes.
So armed 这个形容词就是武装的，所以我们刚刚提到的 armed forces 就是武装部队，是个名词。所以目前呢，台湾有超过200万名后备军人，然后标准的武装部队大概有18万人哦。
So 180,000 soldiers in uniform now. And the article says that while this is no small number, 180, oh, that's a big number, it doesn't match China's 2 million strong regular military. So basically, it's more than 10 times as big as Taiwan's, which means we need to be ready because there's a whole lot of them. And if they want to come here, it's going to be a big problem.
So regular military, 大家知道吗？就是正规军。But now we're going to stop here for a bit because we're going to check out our language in focus.
Yes, ma'am.
Language in focus 要看到是 while 的用法哦。那 while 当作从属连接词的时候，有很多不同用法。像是呢，首先它有这个尽管、虽然的意思，然后是有比较正式的用法哦，跟 although 是相近的哦。For example, while it may be difficult, we need to find a solution to this problem. 那再来呢，还有 while 还有然而的意思，就是用来展现前后子句的对比，强调两者的情况是不同哦。它的语义跟 but 是相近哦。然后注意是它如果 while 放在句中，一定要在它前面加上逗号逗点。For example, the first movie was entertaining, while the sequel was a disappointment. 再来要注意就是引导时间副词子句，常常呢它是用这个跟进行式连用，有当什么什么的时候，用来说明某件事情进行到一半的时候，另外一件事情就发生咯。那我们来看一下 while 子句，引导就是持续时间比较长的事件。While I was reading a book, my phone rang and interrupted me.另外一个 while 如果表示和什么同时，是用来描述一段时间内同时发生两件事哦。举例来说 I enjoy going for a walk while listening to music. 所以课文提到整句是说，虽然这已经是不小的数量，但是它仍然无法与中国的200万的正规军相匹敌。
All right, so this is going to be something that's happening in Taiwan. Now, what does the rest of the world think? Well, it says many countries, including the US, Taiwan's biggest non-official friend, welcome the conscription change. But public opinion at home is more mixed. So politicians in the US, for example, are like, oh, that's good. You should be more prepared for war. But people here, especially the young people who might have to go and actually do the work, they're like, I'm not sure I like this idea. Exactly. But the US government does like the idea. And I would have to say, if people here expect the US government to just come in and save the day, they shouldn't expect. It might happen, and they might help us eventually, but we should be ready to protect ourselves first and not expect America to just save us.
Okay. Home 在这里注意哦，它是本国的意思，不是家里哦。OK， 那形容词 mixed 在这里有着有好有坏的含义，所以包括台湾最大的非官方盟友美国在内，许多国家欢迎这个征兵的改革，但是国内就是台湾的公众意见，大部分人的意见则有好有坏。
I mean, all you have to do is look at Ukraine, right? The US is sending a lot of weapons there, but not soldiers. It's the people of the Ukraine, the young men and women who are doing the fighting. So it is really up to us. But people here, not surprisingly, are not quite sure they love the idea. It says one survey done in early December 2022, so a few months ago, indicates that almost 75% of Taiwan's population agrees with extending conscription. So 3 out of 4 people of all the people in Taiwan, they say, yeah, this is probably a good idea. We need to be more ready for war. This is information they got from doing a survey. What is a survey? Well, it's a noun. We can also use it as a verb to survey a group of people or a place. But basically, as a noun, it's like a questionnaire. When they ask a question to large numbers of people in the public, hundreds, maybe thousands of people. What do you think? Do you think this is good? Do you think this is bad? Should the government do this or should they not do this? They ask a lot of people, and then they basically get a feeling of what the country thinks about a certain question or issue. For example, the new survey or a new survey shows that after COVID, many workers would like to continue to be able to work from home. This is what most workers said.
Okay, so survey 当然就是调查的意思，所以课文提到就是一项在这个2022年12月初进行的调查显示，将近75%的人，台湾人是同意延长征兵的期限哦。
All right, so 75% of people in Taiwan, that's everyone. That's Laura, that's your grandmother, that's people who will never join the army at all, but 75% say, yeah, we should do this. However, only around 35% of people aged 20 to 24 support it. And of course, that age range in their 20s, those are the people who are going to have to actually go to the army for longer. And less than half, only 35% say, yeah, that's a good idea. The other ones maybe don't agree. This figure indicates that those most affected by it, the young people, don't necessarily want it. True. Okay. I wonder if that was before they knew they would be making better money. I mean, part of it might just be like, I can't do that. I got a wife, I got a kid, my mom needs money, she's old. I can't do, I'll get more money? Oh, okay. Well, maybe not so bad, right?
所以 figure 这里注意它有另外一个意思是数据哦。所以呢，课文是说仅有这个35%的人哦，而且他们是20到24岁的人支持这个改革。所以这个数据表示什么呢？最受影响的人群不一定是希望延长服役这个期限哦。
Exactly. But even with a bit more money, you're still giving up a lot of time.
Right.
There's still the danger of being in a war. But, Taiwan is a little country. We got a big bad neighbor there, and we might have to do some awful things. It's a very sad situation, but it's best to be prepared, I would say. All right, let's look at our chat question, and we'll be back to talk about it in just a moment.
Chat.
All right, let's look at the chat question. It is all about, what we were talking about. Do you agree with Taiwan's plans to increase the period of military service? Why or why not? It's basically the same survey question.
Oh, well, I'm kind of neutral because it's not going to affect me.
True.
But maybe disagree because of maybe personal freedom. I think basically it will restrict young people's freedom to pursue their own interests or even their jobs, etc.
That's true. That's true. Anything else?
Maybe health risks because I've heard a lot of things can happen in the military. Maybe sometimes a longer period can lead to increased physical and mental health risks.
That's true, but war can also be a health risk. And personally, just thinking if I was a young person and I was possibly going to go to war, I would always say I would like to be more well-trained. I think if I'm in better shape, if my body's stronger, if I know what I'm doing when the bullets start flying, I have a better chance of living and possibly even winning. So I always kind of thought, hey, if you're going to go into a dangerous situation, you should be most prepared. Kind of being like, it's not happening. I don't like. That's not going to help you once things actually start to go on. But you're right. It's a horrible situation to be in. We wish we weren't here, but since we are here, maybe it's best to be as prepared as possible. I don't know, but you're right. You raised some good points too. Thanks for joining us, guys. We wish you all the best of luck in your future endeavors, and we look forward to seeing you back here sometime soon. Until then, take care, be well, and peace, man.
Vocabulary Review. Announce. The store manager will announce the new sale prices for this holiday season on Friday. Fuel. Music can fuel your ability to exercise well by giving you energy and encouragement. Wage. The company agreed to increase the wages for all employees because of their hard work over the past few years. Expand. The local organization's new program to help animals will soon be expanded all over the world. Armed. There are many armed guards walking around in this building to protect the officials who work here. Survey. The school held a survey to find out what activities students are interested in.
智慧小补帖
Compulsory. Conscript. Minimum. Extended. Reservist.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net